What I'm going to talk about now is gamergate. Generally, what is gamergate, um, and what it isn't. Now, I must admit from the outset, and this is completely upfront, um, I came into this whole thing fairly late on in the piece. Um, However, I've done a lot of research and seeing what lies where, and what's actually able to be rationally thought out. And what I mean by this is just simply that where where a rational person will draw the line, what is and what isn't, what should be co-opted, what shouldn't be co-opted, where the logic lies, where it doesn't, what's critical thinking, what's feelings, you know. A fairly logical bloke. When it comes to issues like this, I don't really put a lot of store into feelings. Facts tend to trump feelings, in my view. There's no point also looking at people and saying, okay, well, that person's really upset, so therefore you have to respect their opinion because they're upset. I'm sorry, it's not how it works. It shouldn't work, and it's stupid to take that point of view. And unfortunately, a lot of the progressive type of stances do take exactly that point of view. They strive for the victim Olympics. Who can be the bigger victim? Therefore, whose opinion is more worthy? Whose opinion is less worthy? Who's got privilege? Who hasn't got privilege? Whose narrative is more infested with oppression? I mean, it's really, really anti-intellectual, to be perfectly honest. Um, it is what it is. So anyhow, we're going to getting a bit off track. What is Gamergate? Where did it come up from? And where, what is it? What isn't it? Um, so if you look at gamergate.me and look at timelines, you're going to see the corruption in games media. Gaming is a reasonably recent, games media is a reasonably recent, relatively, um, uh, industry. Yeah, so fairly young and fresh and all the rest of it. Um, Now, it used to be that the people who were critiquing games were gamers themselves, were invested with the gaming public and what have you, and gradually, this is not been the case. The gaming media have been less and less involved with the gamers, more and more antagonistic, and you can see in the timeline how it's gone and how they're happy to call gamers whatever they like, some really nasty shit. This is the public that's supposed to read their publications. I mean, that is about the stupidest idea as possible. But the gamers have been pretty tolerant with all of this, kicking back, looking for a kind of smoking gun. It all waiting to boil over. Years and years of them, basically the gaming media who derives their income from ads, from sponsors, and from money from the game's developers. Well, what do they care about? The readers. The readers are a problematic, um, mindless rabble who don't have the same intellectual value in games that they have, who don't want to intellectually dissect a game as to its progressive values or what have you. They want to play a game that they like. They want to have a game that they enjoy. They want to have a game that um, they can have fun with, that they're entertained by, that they can mindlessly, trip out to. Um, whereas the games media want to talk about the different aspects of the game outside of just its playability, as to its deeper meanings and its art form and all this bullshit. It is bullshit, isn't it? I mean, I think we can all agree on that, can we? That if you're playing a game, you're not there for the artistic merit. If you're playing a game, you're not there to see what social implications it has, how real it is. You're not you're not after any of that, are you? You're playing as some gangster in a thing. You're not going to go out and start being a gangster in real life. You're not going to suddenly call yourself, OG and you know start blasting up a shopping mall or something. It's just a load of bullshit. And if they had half an ounce of honesty and intellectual fortitude, they would come to realise that this is the case. And in fact, studies have shown that this is the case, that none of these things will affect the levels of violence or anything like that. And Jack Thompson tried it on a few years ago, and that's perhaps why gamers have been as good as what they have with the press. Um, and they've given them such a healthy amount of allowance, I guess, for them to talk shit about them and what have you. But eventually, of course, they've said, no, enough's enough. So anyhow, you've got these people who are disenfranchised from the gamers, the end user. And you've got gamers suspecting them of corruption, of collusion, of all of these things. So it's a tinderbox ready to burn. Now, enter Zoe Quinn, who allegedly was sleeping with five blokes, who most of whom, or all of whom, were in the industry or what have you. And the different ways that could look to be, trying to draw favour. The fact that did any of them try and help make a game, or test the game, or review the game? I mean, you get different stories no matter who you talk to. And I came in quite late in the piece. I wasn't here for the conspiracy hashtag, which is what all this bullshit was about. Did she get harassed? Probably. Conspiracy hashtag probably. Don't know who was harassing her, but I wasn't here at the time. Okay. Now, did she get death threats? Probably. Don't know. Who would have given her death threats? Would it have been the conspiracy people? Maybe. Could have been third-party trolls. They hang out whenever there's any drama online. They tend to swoop in. And I think that's what's happening with Gamergate a lot, actually. It's happening on both sides, as anyone with a little bit of investigation will show you. Whilst it's happening with Boogie, Boogie's wife, actually, King of Pole, Milo, GG Feminist, and Adam Baldwin, a whole slew of people that they're getting either death threats or doxing, same as what's happening on the other side, because third-party trolls are coming in and sniping on both sides and playing two ends off against each other. Beautiful. Who do we hear about? Well, we hear about, the Brianna Woos and Zoe Quinns and Anita Sarkeesians and Felicity Days, but we don't hear about outside things. So, yeah, it's kind of bullshit. Okay, so unfortunately, what happened is there was some kind of death threats made, which I condemn, which anyone in Gamergate generally does condemn. However, it did point out something. It did give the appearance that there, whether it's true or not, I don't really give a shit, and it doesn't really matter, because the people were angry over that assumption, true or not, that there was this collusion, that there was um, this corruption. And on the basis of that, that tinderbox that was already set from years, which had been building up, was suddenly enough, boom, off it went, and Gamergate was launched. Wasn't based on what was happening with conspiracy and who was sleeping with who and how and in what position. It didn't really matter. It mattered the fact that all this time they'd been concerned about this journalistic integrity gone wrong, and now they had something. Now they had, whoa, look at this. That's what got them all pumped up. And so Adam Baldwin launched Gamergate, and Gamergate was set up for that specific purpose, this rebelling against this journalistic integrity shortcomings, and that's where it all comes from. Now, Zoe Quinn, it's not all about her, and I know she keeps coming back to that. I know other people who are defending her, different sites are always coming back to that. Why? Because gaming media doesn't want to say, if you say to them, is it all about corruption in games, in gaming media? What do they say? Oh yeah, absolutely. We're corrupt. Our partner sites are corrupt. Our peers are corrupt. We're all corrupt. Or do they try and deflect and say misogyny? Real easy word to use. Big lot of payload behind that word. And it's all crap. And so that's where it's all coming from. Now, you won't, while they'll try and paint us and polarise us as this neck-bearded, cis white male, blah, 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 it's not actually true. Um, Diverse movement, different nationalities, such as me, Australian, is different races, different genders, different sexual preferences, different political ideologies and preferences. We're diverse, 7,000 strong, and hanging there for 3 months. That's not driven on hate, man. That's not driven on bigotry, and the people who are suggesting it are either idiots or liars. Either or, I don't care. Whichever one they want to put their hand up for, I don't really care. But the one of them, they're either dupes or dupers. So yeah, just if people try and tell you the wrong thing, get them to look up Gamergate me or Gamergate in 60 seconds, or if they still struggle with it, they're probably not worth saying, man. They're probably not worth trying to convince. If they're too stupid to get it, and then they're probably not going to get it. I looked at things for about a week until I was pretty sure where my values lay, and I've been a big supporter since, and I will continue to be. But don't be overly concerned if people don't get it. They will, they won't, and certainly don't get emotional over it. But that's where we come from. That's what it's about. People who don't like it, I don't care. Okay. Take care, fellas. Bye.